So we'll start with الدرس الثامن عشر, which is 18th lesson. And now, for the first time, we will be introduced to this concept of al-muthanna, which is a dual. Okay, muthanna is dual. As I mentioned to you a few times, that Arabic language, they divide the numbers into three primary category or division. So you have singular, mufrad, which is singular. Then you have muthanna. Okay, and then you have what? Muthanna, which is a dual. And then you have jam'un, which we already start learning. Mufrad, muthanna, and jam. So the singular mufrad is just one, obvious. And the muthanna is exactly two. So singular is exactly one, muthanna is exactly two, and the jam'un, it starts from three or more. So we will learn how to deal with the dual. By and large, the duals are extremely easy. It only has a very simple rule. How do we make a word, a singular into dual? And then this rule is pretty much fixed. It does not change. Okay, so inshallah, we will see that it's not that complicated. The only reason that we don't talk about this one right up in the beginning, especially for the English speaker, because we don't have this concept. Okay, so that's why the author decided to add this one at the end. So let us start reading the explanation. He says, Al-Musanna ma dalla ala ithnaini. So Musanna is what indicates ithnain. What is ithnain? We have to learn our number. واحد, اثنان, ثلاثة, أربعة. Inshallah, the next chapter, I believe the next chapter, author will introduce the numbers. So ithnan is a two, number two, and we have ithnaini for the grammatical reason. Inshallah, we will study them. أو اثنتين, or ithnan or ithnathaini. What is the difference? So this is a masculine and this is feminine. So he's saying that the dual is what indicates whether something is masculine or feminine, doesn't matter. It indicates two. Okay, two of for lil-aqil wa ghayri al-aqil. So it doesn't matter whether it's human being or objects. Whenever we have two of something, and it also doesn't matter the gender, then we call it al-muthanna. So you have kitab 1 here, and plus you have kitab 2. Now how do we have two books, how do we address them? Do you say kutub? That's a plural. We can have a problem because plural starts with 3. And do we say singular? Well, it's not a singular, so how do we deal with them? It's very simple, which is you add alif and noon. Alif and noon with kasr. Okay, alif and noon with kasr. Very, very simple, guys. This one don't make complicated. At least have one rule, that knowing that it is very simple. You have kitabun, you add alif and noon. Ani sound. And it becomes what? Kitabani. See, here's your ba, here's your alif, and here's your noon. And you know the rule, the tanween, I'll just give you a simple rule. You know that alif, before alif, it always needs to be a fatha. Okay, this is a strong rule. We had a dhamma with a tanween, but doesn't matter. You have alif, it needs to be a fatha. You have to convert that haraka into a fatha. And why don't we have a tanween? Why don't we say kitabani or something? Because the tanween always comes at the end. Okay, so we don't regard that, we don't have tanween in the middle of the word or in the beginning. So we have kitabani. Okay, we have qalam, qalamun, alif and noon. You say qalamani. Very simple. Does it work with feminine? Yes, it does. So you say shajara, shajaratun. Okay, you had alif and noon. Here you don't remove the ta marbuta. You keep it. You say shajaratani. So what's happening here? What's happening here? Shajaratani. What's happening is that nothing. We have exactly the same thing, but only thing is that this ta is becoming, this round ta marbuta is becoming ta al maftuha. Why? Because again, ta marbuta is always at the end. Ta marbuta cannot come in the middle or in the beginning. So because now the tamar, this ta is not in the end, it is in the middle. That's why we have to convert that into your standard ta, only for the writing. Now, so very simple thing. So let us read what he's saying. He's giving us an example of al-aqil, the intellect. Rajul, man, rajulani. Now, when we say rajulani, you automatically thinking about two men. Imra'atun, imra'atani. As you can see, this ta marbuta is becoming your standard ta. Waladun, waladani, bintun, bintani, akh. Here is a interesting change happens. We haven't talked about these words, akh and ab. Don't worry, next book, I'm pretty sure we will go a little bit more in details. These are very special word. In Arabic, we have 5 words. Okay, so these are called al-asma al-khamsa, the 5 words that they have special rulings. 2 of the 5 words is very common, which we use all the time. One is akh, another one is ab. Okay, the key things to remember now. I can tell you the key things to remember is that Arabic word, other than the harf, other than the particles, both the verb and nouns, it should be minimum letter should be 3. If something is missing, that means if you see only 2 letters, then something is missing. So as you can see, there's only 2 letters. Ab, only 2 letters. What about Is it 2 letter? No, there is a shadda. Because so we have a shadda, that's why it's not 2 letter. Same thing as Okay, now, so when you have a 2 letters, you have to know that something is missing. So that when you make it a dual, that missing letter shows up. What was missing here is waw. Okay, so you say akhawani, akhawani, and that's why something we haven't talked about. When we put this word in idafa, you will see an additional letter comes up. So for example, we say ab, okay, and let's say we have bakar. So bakar is a name of a person, and we want to say he is the father of Bakr, Abu Bakr, right? So this is your standard mudaf ilayhi. So here we cannot just simply say Abu Bakrin. Just like say Kitabullah, simply we cannot say Abu Bakrin. Here you will see if something the book already used it a lot, we just simply didn't talk about this one. We have to add additional wow here, Abu Bakrin. And when it is fatha, we say Aba Bakrin. And when it's kasra, we say Abi Bakrin. So this additional letter shows up. So inshallah, this is something we don't have to spend so much time because the book honestly did not spend time separately. We may do that after finishing the course just to recap some of the rules. But this rule will show up in your book 2 and certainly in book 3 when we talk about the Arab. Now, so here, just pay attention here. We don't say akhani, we say akhawani. Very common mistake people do. You say abani. No, same thing. Abawani. The waw will come back. Now he gives us example of ghayrul aqil, without intellect, object. We say qalamun, qalamani, sa'atun, sa'atani, riyalun. What is riyal? Riyal is a Saudi currency. You say ريالان. عندي ريالان. That means I have $2. Now, غرفة غرفتان. هكذا. So he's giving us more example. أمثلة للمثنى. So examples for the مثنى. خالد له ابنان وبنتان. Okay, you see what he's doing. خالد له. That means he has ابنان وبنتان. So that means what does he have? How many children he has? Four. Yes. So he has two sons and two daughters. فاطمة لها طفلان صغيران. Now here comes very important concept. So now we want to say the Fatima, she has, what is tifl? What is the word? Is tifl. Tifl is child. So she has two children. Tiflani, two children. But look what's going on with the adjective. Remember, the adjective has to match what? The number. We don't say tiflani sagirun. No, we say tiflani sagirani. Same rule, guys, that we learned. Adjective must follow all four things: gender, grammar, number, and the definiteness. Then we have li عينان وأذنان ويدان ورجلان. So very good. One sentence teaching you a lot of body parts. D is I have two eyes. Naam, two eyes. Two. What is udun? Udun is ear. Okay, very good. Yad. Yad is what? Hand. Very hand. And rijil. What is rijil? Leg. Yes, very good. So I have two eyes, two ears, two hands, and two legs. It says Salatul Fajri. Salatul Fajri rak'atani. See? Rak'atani. So rak'atun is one unit prayer. Now, from the standing to the sujud and you come back. That is one unit. But we're saying for Salatul Fajri rak'atani. So Salatul Fajr has two units of prayer. Any question? Very simple things. As you can see, it's all about just adding alif and nun. There's another state I will mention if the author here mentions. If not, then we'll leave it for other time. So now he's going to give us the demonstrative pronouns. How do we say these are two? Okay, for both masculine and feminine. So if you recall, we had hada, hada for this masculine, for singular, but how do we say dual? You say hadani. Hadihi was for this feminine. How do we say for the plural? Here's a little bit change happening. We say hatani. So a few changes. Let's pay attention here. Number one, remember we've been saying that when we say hada, and hadihi, there is an alif. There is an alif, but we don't write it, but we have to pronounce. Here that alif will show up. Okay, here the alif will come visible. So you say hatani, hadihi and hatani. So he says hadani ismu isharatin lil muthanna al qarib. So hadani is a demonstrative pronoun for the dual, which is a near, just like this. Al-Mudhakkar al-Aqil. So it is for intellect wa غير aqil, but it is for mudhakkar, masculine. هاتان is اسم إشارة للمثنى القريب المؤنث العاقل وغير العاقل. So هاتان is the dual version of هذه. Simple as that. Okay, the dual version of هذا, dual version of هذه. So how do we use it? We say hadani talibani. Singular version would be hada طالب. We've done it. Now, هذا طالبون. So how do we say هذا طالب means this is a student. So how do we say these are two students? We say هذان طالبان. So this is a dual, and we have to make predicate dual as well. So you recall that the mubtada and khabar, they have to agree with the number. That's same thing in English as well. We don't say these are pen with singular. No, you have to make it plural as well. So هذان قلمان and هذان تاجران هذان مفتاحان. What is miftah? Keys. هذان صديقان. These two are friends. هذان كلبان. These two are dogs. Very, very simple things. And then with the feminine version, we say هاتان طالبتان هاتان مسطرتان. What is mistara? It comes from the word satar. Satar is a line on the surface, and mistara is a ruler. Yeah. هاتان تاجراتان. So this is the female business person. هاتان لغتان. These are two languages. هاتان صديقتان. These are two female friends. As you can see, these are very, very simple stuff, nothing too complicated, okay? I'm still trying to see if the author mentioned the other state or not. He didn't. No. Maybe I'll mention toward the end, okay? The next small topic we have in this lesson is come. We use come to ask about quantity, okay? Ask about quantity. So we say, how many? Okay. So for example, he says here, كم اسم استفهام يدل على العدد. So it is a question noun which indicates the number. والاسم الذي بعده منصوب يسمى تمييزا. So this is a interesting grammatical notion here, something that we will spend a lot of time understanding what is tamyiz in book 3. Okay, in book 3. But this word will come a lot because whenever we talk about number, the tamiz, this word will come a lot. But the tamiz as a subject topic in itself, we will study them in book 3. Because what does tamiz means? Tamiz means is what? It is to clarify something, specify something. Meaning, if I say I have 3, okay, so you have 3, very good. 3 what? 3 houses, 3 cars, 3 sons, 3 pens. What is it, 3? So whatever I say after 3, that would be a clarification. Because sometimes in some contexts, it may make sense. For example, we are talking about books. You say, I have 3 books. She says, I have 5 books. And I just decided to say, I have 3. Do I have to say 3 books? No, I don't have to. The sentence is complete. It is a valid, complete sentence. I have 3. عندي ثلاثة. Now, if you want to clarify it, that's where the tamiz comes. He's giving us a little bit of grammatical notion here. He's indicating about the kam because kam is the replacement for the number. Adad. So the kam is replacement for the number. It is a placeholder for the number. So whatever comes after kam, it's going to be tamiz. So he's going to teach us how do we make this kind of question. How do we say how many books, how many pens, like that. So here we have example, Kam kitaban indaka. Kam kitaban indaka. So few things to note. Number 1, kam, that means as soon as you see kam, you know that we're asking about quantity. If I say kam indak, again, everybody's talking about pens or something. Now you're saying kam indak, how many do you have? Okay, so it may be understood. But if you want to clarify what you're asking about, then the noun after kam will be into a mansub state. Few things. In English, we say how many. How many? Do we say how many book? Or you say books? Huh? We say how many books, plural. In Arabic, no, it's always singular. Okay, that's number one. So we didn't say kam kutuban. No, we say kam kitaban. Second rule is that, as the author mentioned, it will be into a mansub, so that means it will take a fatha. And because this is indefinite, even in English, we say indefinite, we wouldn't say how many the books, we say how many books. So because of its indefinite, we have tanween. So kam kitaban. So how many books with you? So you say indi kitabani. I have two books. And you can also say indi kitabun. I have a book. So how do we say I have three books? That is for the next chapter. Next chapter will tell you how to say the numbers from 3 to 10. So, but now we know at least how to say one of something, two of something. I have one book, kitabun. I have two books, kitabani. I have one pen, qalamun. I have two pens, qalamani. I have one house, baitun. I have two house, baitani. So at least we know how to say these two numbers. Kam akhan laka. Okay, kam akhan laka. How many brothers do you have? So you say li akhawani. I have two brothers. كم مسجدا في هذا الشارع كم مسجدا في هذا الشارع. What does it mean? How many masjid? Again, pay attention to these new rules. You have come, singular, and mansub. How many mosques are in this street? You say fihi. You don't have to say في هذا الشارع. You can say في هذا الشارع مسجد واحد. But you can convert, you can replace this whole thing with the pronoun. That's what we do, right? That's why we have a pronoun, so that we don't repeat our nouns all the time. So we say fihi, and we did learn how to conjugate the attached pronouns. Fihi masjidun wahidun. Now the question. If I just said fihi masjidun, will anyone get confused? Maybe there are two mosques or maybe three mosques. If I just only said fihi masjid, will someone get confused how many mosques are in this street? No one will get confused because masjidun is a singular. No one will think this is a dual. There's a two mosque. There is three mosque. So what is wahidun is doing? Huh? What is wahidun is doing? So why we said wahidun? Wahid is one. It is just like in English. You can say in this street is a mosque, or you can say in this street is one mosque. So you can say the number one mosque, or you can say a mosque. Yes. So when you use this one explicitly, it has this emphasis. Same thing would happen if you wanted to say there are two masjids. You could have said fihi masjid Dani, if you say masjidani, believe it or not, this is, in a way, it has built-in emphasis to begin with, because this ani sound is very peculiar. People will know that you are talking about two. But in rare case, if you really want to emphasize, here you can also bring the number two. You say ithnani. Okay, you say fihi masjidani ithnani. So now you're being very precise that there are only two masjids in this street. So here, this will come as emphasis. This is more common than this one. Makes sense? Now, I have a question for you. What type of phrase is this? Masjidun wahidun. Adjective phrase. Yes. And what about this one? Masjidani ithnani. It's the same thing, they're adjective. So here's your first rule about numbers when you use the numbers with anything. The first rule: number 1 and 2 is adjective phrase. So anytime you want to say one book or two books, one pen, two pens, one man, two men, anytime you want to use one and two, you have to use them in an adjective phrase. So all the rules of adjective will be there. So for example, you want to say fihi, in it, sa'atun, a what? You say wahidatun. Here we said masjidun wahidun. Here we say wahidatun. Because why? Because we have to match the gender. It's an adjective. Adjective rule doesn't change. But what if I wanted to say two watches? We will say sa'atani. Huh? I was gonna write wahidatani. Allah mustan. Sa'atani what? Ithnatani. Ithnatani. How is that feminine? Because remember, the masculine is ithnani. Feminine is ithnatani. That ties that. Okay, so number one, now you know how to say one to two, you can easily say it. So this is your adjective. Do we use adjective for number 3, 4, and 5? Absolutely not. So this is something that inshallah we will learn next class. We will use idafa phrase. So it's the same example. Kam haqibatan indak, how many bags you have. Indi haqibatani. So same things. Kam sayyaratan, sayyaratan fi baytik. Fihi sayyaratani. So you have hadani is mubtada, rajulani is khabar, something that we already know, right? But what you have to know is that they mubtada and khabar must agree with number. Mubtada is singular, khabar has to be singular. If mubtada is dual, khabar needs to be dual, and like so for the plural. And we have hatani, fatatani. So what he's saying, this is mubtada and khabar. So what do we also learn here? Same thing. It has to match the number, must match also what? Gender. Okay. They have to match the gender as well. And the rule, kam akhan laka. So this is ism istifham, and akhan here we say tamyiz. Akhan is tamyiz, because it's clarifying what number do you want to know. I want to know about the brother. Makes sense? So fairly simple. As I mentioned to you, the rules are simple, but what author did not mention is its state. So I'll just quickly mention it here. I think this is something that you'll learn in the next book, which is, remember, this is the first time we're also seeing something very strange. We said the marfu, the Dhamma state that we've been saying all along, we've been saying Dhamma state, Dhamma state. So kitabun, it is in the Dhamma state or the default state. And more appropriately, we learned that this is marfu, rough state. And then when you say alif lam, we say al kitabu, they're all in a Dhamma state. Why? Because they have a Dhamma. That's what we learned. But what about this one? Kitabani. Where's your Dhamma? So for example, if I wanted to say Al-Kitabu Saghirun, the book is small. Let's start with Walad. Al-Waladu Saghirun. So we know that Mubtada is marfu and Khabar is marfu. Both of them takes a Dhamma. But now I want to say the two boys are small. So we say Al-Waladani. And we have to change our khabar as well. So we say Al-Waladani Saghirani. Yes. So what happened to our Dhamma? Some word, their state, the default state or the marfu it doesn't take Dhamma. And this is one of them. You will learn a lot more. This is one of them. So here there's no Dhamma. This Ani sound, this Ani, it is the Dhamma state. It is the Raf. It is the Marfu. So Al-Waladani, it is Marfu. So now the question comes then, how do we say Majrur? If I want to say Rajulani, now I want to say go to these two men. I want to say Ila. It's already in kasra. So we'll be like, okay, alhamdulillah, I don't have to do anything because I need a kasra state. So my word already has a kasra. That's why we cannot say kasra states. We have to say majrur. So how do we make this word into majrur? This is what the author did not mention, which instead of alif and ya, as someone pointed out, we say ya, and so alif and nun, we say ya and nun. But careful with the sound. You say الرجلين. So the ya takes a sukun, and before ya takes a fatha, and your noon remains kasra. So it would be الرجلين. Okay. قلمين كتابين. Ani or aini sound. So this is for marfu, raf state, and this one is for both majrur and mansub. So we use this one for both kasra and the fatha. So I'm just giving you a little bit of knowledge. These things, inshallah, we are not practicing with them. When book will give you exercise with them, inshallah, there will be a lot more discussion. Just FYI for your information if you're wondering. Okay, so just make sure at least that this this ani sound, it is your marfu. Now we go back to the text. الدرس الثامن عشر. So مدرس says كم أخا لك يا Muhammad. So we already learned how to say this type of question. How many brothers you have? And then we already learned before that when we talk about how many friends, how many brothers or sister or son, we use the harful jar li. We don't say indi. But if you want to say how many pens you have, you say indi qalamani. I have 2 pens. But you have to say li khawani. I have 2 brothers. Now, something that we learned already before. Li ukhtani. I have 2 sisters. So ajala, it is, what is ajala? Ajala is wheels. So kam ajalatan lid daraja. Daraja is, I think we had it, bicycle, right? So how many wheels for the bikes? You say laha ajalatani. No? Kam Eidan, how many Eid, the festivals we have, fi sana. Okay, how many festivals we have in a year? We have 2 Eids. Here's what we've been mentioning. Remember, the word is ab, but when you put this word into idafa, mudaf, then we have to add waw for the dhamma, and ya for the kasra, and alif for the fatha. Right now, this is something that, if you know it, it's fine. If you don't know it, too complicated, don't worry, these things will come again. No. So what is madjar? Shop. Very, very good. Madjar is shop. So see, it comes from tijara. Okay, so he did not mention the dual pronoun. So we have to also learn the dual pronoun. Very important. So we had huwa for he. Nam, hiya for she. Then we have whom for they, and hunna for they, feminine. So how do we say they too? Like two, we use huma. Now this one is good for masculine and feminine. So this would be they too. And inshallah we'll learn, we'll say kuma for the you too. Okay, so this is very important pronoun. After this lesson, you would have every single pronouns there is. Okay, so maybe we will do a review of all the pronouns. This is the last pronoun that we needed. which is how do we say the dual. So now you have the dual. So huma is for both masculine and for the feminine. Huma li, these two are for me. No, again, huma. So the exercise, it's a very simple exercise, very good one. Just answer these questions about the number by saying the dual version. So if someone asks you, here is asking, كم قلما عندك? You say, I have 2 pens. عندي قلمان. كم سبورة في فصلكم? How many boards you have in your class? You say. Now you can answer without doing the conjugation. You could say فيه. Okay, so that would work, I suppose. But if you wanted to say in our class, you would say في فصلنا. Say في فصلنا. Okay, so you use these attached pronoun. This kum is for plural you, and na is for plural we. So fihi, you will say saburatani. Now, so here he's pointing this thing out. You have akh, but its muthanna would be akhawani. I think it's a mistake. It would be musannahu, not tamarota. It would be musannahu. Musannahu, its dual is akhawani. Iqra waktub. You know how I feel about this exercise. Extremely simple, easy, and extremely important, because this is where you do your i'rab. You put your haraka. Now, if your book already put all the haraka, then still you should read and write. And he's clarifying how to ask this type of question. You say kam ukhtan, singular, mansub. Kam qalaman, singular, mansub. Kam sayyaratan, singular, mansub. Yeah? So now you should practice by any word that you know. Kam kitaban indak, kam baytan indak. Okay? So just whatever words that you memorize, use them. So this is now you're supposed to make the مبتدا. حول المبتدا في كل من الجمل الآتية إلى مثنى. So change the subject into dual. So once you do that, what is the side effect? Your khabar needs to be dual as well. So you say هذان كتابان. هذا قلم. هذان قلمان. هذه مسطرة. هاتان مسطرتان. Now, so you do the rest. So here he wants you to write them and put the haraka, because this haraka is important. The ending is important. Kalbani, maktabani, qamisani. So you say thanni. Thanni, that means to make it muthanna. Al-kalimat al-atiya. So very simple things. You just add alif and noon with kasra. And here are your new vocabs. Simple lesson. So the next, what is ad-darsani? It always say ad-dars. Why does it say ad-darsani? Means 2 lessons. Here we will cover 2 lessons. At-tase ashar wa al-ishrun. So 19 and 20. And so this is very good because we cover 2 lessons at the same time, and both of them talking about al-adad, numbers. So here we will spend more time dealing with how do we use the numbers, how do we say 1, 2, 3, 4 of some things. Now, and as you can see, I will always tell you, and I don't say these things to scare you guys, I say these things to make you alert and you know where to spend more time. The numbers in Arabic language, it is difficult because it has lots of layers. I just give you one layer, which is 1 to 2. This layer has 1 different rules how you say it, which is adjective phrase. Then you have a second layer, which is 3 to 10, which we'll learn right now. Al-adad mina thalatha ila ashara. So this is a second layer. Then you have another layer from 11 to 12. Then you have a layer from 13 to 19. Then you have a layer for the how to say 20s, 30s, 40s. Then you have a layer for how to say 21, 31, 51. Then you have another layer. How do you say 100 and 1000? Allah understand. It's not only how what are the haraka, it is also the rules of the gender. So it gets a little bit tricky. So he's saying al-adad min thalatha ila ashara يخالف المعدود في التذكير والتأنيث. So the first rule he gives us, very important rules. The number from 3 to 10, it differs, يخالف, it differs al-ma'dud. What is ma'dud? Ma'dud, it is the tamiz, the one that you're describing. So for example, you have 3 books. So 3 is the adad, and the ma'dud is the book, the one that you're numbering. Okay, so this is also in Arabic called tamyiz, which we learned in the last lesson. So what he's saying is that from number 3 to 10, their gender, they differ. So the gender of the ma'dud, whatever you're describing, will be opposite of the gender of the number. Subhanallah, even number has gender. So just to visualize, we don't know how to say it yet, just to visualize, if we say kitab, right, and we want to say 3, we have to, kitab is masculine, the 3, number 3 has to be feminine. So how do you say 3? Thalatha. Thalatha. So this is feminine. So this is the number that we have to use. So what will be the masculine version of 3? You say thalath. You say thalathun. You see, the number also has gender. Thalathatun and thalathun. So by this definition, we know if we want to say 3 books, we would have to use this version with the ta marbuta. Why? Because our ma'dud, our object, or the thing that we're trying to number, it is masculine. We have to use the opposite gender. Make sense? I, meaning he's explaining a little bit more. I means meaning إذا كان المعدود مذكرا, if the معدود is masculine, فإن العدد, then the number يكون مؤنثا, then the number will be feminine. وإذا كان المعدود مؤنثا, if the معدود is feminine, فإن العدد يكون مذكرا, then the number will be masculine. والمعدود يكون جمعا مجرورا بالإضافة. Okay, here's your second rule. Again, what number are we talking about? We're talking about only number 3 to 10 here. So you want to say 3 books, 5 books, 10 books, 3 bags, 10 bags. These are the rules you need to make. So second rule is that ma'dud, the one that you're numbering, has to be plural, and it has to be majrur, and it has to be in idafa. Meaning it will be mudaf ilayhi, basically mudaf ilayhi. If you say something is mudaf ilayhi, you already know that it is majrur. Mudaf ilayhi is always majrur. Okay, so he said it. Ay yakunu mudafan ilayhi. So that means it will be mudaf ilayhi. So let's read what example he's giving us. Amthila lil ma'dud al mudhakkar. So here is that when the ma'dud is mudhakkar. So which is tullab. Tullab is what? Talib. The singular is talib. Talib is a male student. So when you want to say 3 male students, you have to use thalatha with the ta marbuta. And that number has to be mudaf ilayhi. So you make it into idafa phrase. You say thalathatu tullabin. Thalathatu tullabin. Arba'atu rijalin. 4 men. You don't say rajul. Rajul is the singular. You say rijal, plural. Khamsatu kutubin. 5 books. Sittatu abwabin. 6 doors. Okay, عندي سبعة أقلام. I have 7 pens. Now I can say more than 2 or more than 1. I can say I have 7 pens. عندي سبعة أقلام. مضاف مضاف إليه. All the rules. all the rules, guys, all the rules. No tanween, naam, and you get a kasra. Now he's going to show us when ma'dud, it is feminine, like طالبة. You say طالبة, female student. Now do we say ثلاثة طالبات? No, you have to use the opposite gender. You have to use the opposite gender. So طالبة has a مربوطة, you have to use masculine version. You say ثلاث طالبات. أربع نساء. خمس كلمات. Five words. ست ساعات. Six watches or clocks. عندي سبع دراجات. I have 7 bicycles. الله المستعان. ثمن هذا الكتاب. ثمن is the price. Price of this book. ثماني روبيات. ثماني روبيات. What is روبيات? I think it's rupees. Price for this book is 8 rupees. لي 9 عمات. I have 9 aunts. So you see, this is already start getting a little bit interesting, right? So a lot of rules you have to know. Now the author did not give you how do we actually say number 1 to 10. I'll just write them down. You have to know this because that's a little bit issue here. You say واحد, واحدون. Note the gender. If somebody wants to say 1, just you want to say the number 1. You say واحدون. You never say واحدة. You say واحد. So second is اثنان or اثنان. Okay, you don't say اثنتان, you say اثنان. But look what happens when you say number 3. You say ثلاثة. From number 3 and until 10, and you say feminine version, you don't say ثلاثون. If you're just reading the numbers, somebody say, how do you say 4? You say أربعون? No, you say أربعة. 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 Okay, so you have to know خمسة. Okay, you say ستة. ستة. You say سبعة. سبعة. ثمانية. ثمانية. تسعة. تسعة. and عشرة. 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 So just to note that the numbers from 3 to 10, when you're reading them, make sure you know that it has tamarbota. But when you place them in a sentence based on how you're using it, you have to use the masculine or feminine. And as you learn, if you're using a number to describe something that is feminine, you would use the opposite gender for 3 to 10. Make sense? Now he says a little bit more issue here. الحكم في تذكير العدد وتأنيثه على المفرد في المعدود وليس على الجمع. So the ruling that you take, that this is a very important point, that whether it should be opposite of the gender, you take the ruling from the singular of that word, not from the plural. Why is he saying this one? Asatidha. This word, asatidha. What does it mean? You heard this word before. It is plural for teachers. Yes, it is teachers. Now, if you just look at this word, you want to say 3 teachers. So you'll be like, let's see. This is a feminine word. So we say thalathu asatidha. Do you do it like that? No, that's what he means. You have to go back to a singular version. Singular is ustad, which is masculine. So when you do, You don't look at the plural, you look at the singular. So here you have to say ثلاثة أساتذة. ثلاثة أساتذة. It's a very important point. خمسة كتب وأنث العدد الخمس. So you make this one feminine لأن المفرد مفرد في المعدود مذكر كتاب. Okay, so you say ثمانية ريالات. Okay, so why is this one feminine? Because the singular is riyal. So same rule. Make sense? So this covers all the grammar things that we need to know from the lesson number 19 and 20. So this is pretty good. So only thing you have to know is how do we construct, how do we say a number from 3 to 10 to describe anything. Now with this one and the previous one, you should be able to say any numbers from 1 to 10. So if you're saying I have 2 books, you'll use adjective phrase. You are not going to start with number, you know, ithnatani, kitabani. No, adjective starts with the noun. So you say kitabani, ithnani. But when you say from 3 to 10, now you know you will use mudaf, mudaf ilayhi. You'll say the number first, and all the other rules that we have learned so far. Make sense? So let's quickly go through that text. So he is asking kam taliban, same rules that we learned, right? Kam taliban jadidan fi faslik ya shaykh. How many new students are in your classroom? You say fihi asharatu tullabin jududin. So there are 10 new students. But remember, your adjective phrase hasn't changed. Tullab is plural. You have to make adjective also plural. So now we know how to say 10 from different countries. Bilad mukhtalifa, minhum, among them, thalathatu tullabin, 3 students, min Philippines, from the Philippines, wa arbatu tullabin min al-Yaban, wa talibani, 2 students, min al-Sin, from China, wa talibun wahidun min Malaysia, 1 student from Malaysia. So as you can see, this is how you say the numbers from 1 to 10. Now, so I believe this lesson will only deal with the masculine. How do you say masculine? Okay, so masculine rule is that we use the feminine number. So you have a tamreen, اقرأ واكتب. Please, you have to read them loudly. ثلاثة طلاب, أربعة طلاب, خمسة طلاب. It will help a lot. Also read them and translate these. So كم ريالا عندك الآن يا عمار؟ عندي الآن 8 ريالات. 8 ريالات. You would not know what to do with the haraka here if we don't know the rules. مضاف مضاف إليه. Saman, remember, is the price. So قدامى قدامى is the plural for قديم. قديم. No. So this lesson number 19, is all about masculine. So you should not make any mistake. You know the number has to be feminine. Okay, and you put them in mudaf ilayhi form. Here you have more plurals, because remember what I mentioned to you, the plurals are, you have to learn them separately. So it's not easy just to add s or es, just like in English. So you have to memorize them. Yom, ayyam, rakib, rukkab, qadim, qudama. So it's not easy. You have to memorize them. What is jaib? Jaib is pocket. Do you? So now the lesson number 20 is this exactly same thing. Now we'll be describing female words. So let me pick something up. You see, we say khamsu talibatin, khamsu, not khamsatu. We say khamsatu tullabin, khamsu talibatin. Nothing else in this lesson. Sabu talibatin. Okay, thalathu akhawatin, 3 sisters. Khamsatu إخوة. So he said plural of أخ is إخوة. So he said خمسة. نعم. So read them. غرف is the plural for غرفة. No. I don't see anything complicated here. It's just the same simple rules, but simple rule, but don't delay with learning number rules because the number rules will pile up. I just give you a few introduction to how many layers we have. Okay, we only cover 2 layers. Okay, there are other layers as well. So please do them. This is very interesting. This one is very important because you have to learn the number symbol and you have to know how to use them. Now you want to say, I have 4 brothers and 3 sisters. Well, now it is your time to put them into test. So you have to write it in the word. So do you say for here female version or masculine version? Huh? Lee, I have 4 brothers. Which one do you say, F or M? Female version or the masculine version? Female version, yes. So you say لي 4 إخوة وثلاث ثلاث أخوات. هكذا. Do this one. Don't skip this one. And then you have الكلمة الكلمات الجديدة. مجلة. مجلة is a newspaper and all the other words. حرف is a letter. Indonesia is a country, so you know all of them, inshallah. Okay.